Okay, welcome to shrub trimming. We're at a property here. We're going to look over all these plants, and I'm going to point out what we're looking for if these plants need to be trimmed. These typical grasses like this, you can trim them back in the spring. Throughout most of the year, they really don't need much work. In this property, we're also going to do some pre-emergent application, pre-emergent granules. And also we're going to detail the flower beds and pull out any weeds. Here are some weeds right here. These are little sprouts that come from oak trees. We're going to pull all those out. Here's a rather large one. Should have been pulled out a long time ago. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this one right here. Okay, after this is trimmed, all this is going to be cleaned up and it's going to be one nice even ball shape. Down here, there's all these vines all over these plants. We're going to pull all these vines off. See all the little hairs, how they stick out? After we get done trimming, all these hairs will be nice and shaved off, and it'll be like a clean shave. Okay. This is a detailed trim on this property. Detailed means we're going to get some hand pruners, and by hand, come through here, and any sprouts that are coming off of this stem area, we're going to trim them up and pull all that out so it's nice and clean. These don't grow very fast, so these will just barely be touched by the hedge trimmers, but when we do it, we're going to just trim these pieces off here and just try to just smooth it out just a little bit. So they typically grow faster if they're in more sunlight. These right here are called boxwoods. Boxwoods do need trimming fairly routinely, about once every 2 or 3 months. Okay, here's a prime example of the detailed trim we're going to do. Down here, all these sprouts coming off the tree. We're going to just clip those off with hand pruners to give it a nice, clean, manicured look. Also, backing up from the tree, let's look at this up here. This up here is a lot lighter green than the rest of the body of the tree. That lighter green is new growth. We're going to trim off that new growth and give this a smooth, nice, round look. There again, everything looks pretty rough. We're going to trim it up, make it look nice. Okay, let's go around to the side here. Okay, this is a sago palm. It looks really good. However, if we look underneath, these little baby sprouts, little baby sagos, we're going to trim those off at the base and pull those out of there. You typically can't pull them out. You just have to clip them off at the base, and I'll make it look nice and clean. These right here, they look kind of shaggy, so we'll clean those up. Coming around the side, these don't look too bad, but again, we'll go over more with our hedge trimmers. And we might try to pull some of this purple stuff out since it does not belong. It obviously doesn't belong with the rest of this, so we'll try to pull that out and make it look nice and clean. Okay, I'm going to get started. Okay, coming back to this plant right here, we just gave it a shave. Notice how smooth it is around the outside. Also notice how it got underneath the plant. See? Be sure to trim all aspects of it, including the underside. Let's look at one that needs trimming on the underside. See all the growth? Yeah, after we get done, all that will be trimmed out, so it looks nice and clean. There you go. Smooth, shaggy. Okay, now the technique for trimming, you just simply run the hedge trimmers over the top, following the contour of the plant. Sometimes boxwoods will be different shapes, such as squares, rectangles, things like that. Simply just maintain the shape that's already existing. We don't want to try to change the shape up. So if it's already sphere, leave it a sphere. If it's square, leave it a square. You just run the hedge trimmers over the top, back and forth, in a back and forth motion, and it will trim it up. Okay, continue on. Okay, now the cleanup begins. You got everything trimmed up. What you can do with these plants is take a rake, you knock all the stuff off, all the clippings. These trees, these larger plants, you can give them a shake, debris will fall out. Okay. Let's go shake the debris out of this one. Okay. Now we're going to do the cleanup. Okay. When raking debris out of a flower bed, especially when it has mulch, it's going to be inevitable that some of the mulch is going to come out with it. That's just going to happen. But just gently take the rake, run over the top, and you want to try to get about 90% of the debris out. You're never really going to get 100%. Because to get 100% out would require you pretty much removing all the mulch out of the flower bed. So, okay, let's review our work. In the job description of this property, for this particular project, there is no time limit. It basically says detail all the shrubs with a detailed trim, and pull any weeds or spray any weeds in the flower beds, and do a complete and thorough job and apply a pre-emergent. So we've applied the pre-emergent, we've swept off the sidewalks, which we always sweep off the sidewalks, patios, driveways, or any other concrete surfaces after any granular application. A lot of those chemicals will stay in the concrete if left there during the rain or high humidity. Let's do a walk through here. As you can see, all the oak sprouts are pulled up. There's no more weeds in the ornamental grasses. Come over here. We pulled all the vines out. We did a detailed trim, so there's no sprouts from this level up to here. Again, let's look at these. Nice, smooth, rounded off. Oh, there's one. Okay, much better. Oh, dang it. Okay, nice, smooth, rounded off. Note, we also got on the bottom, rounded the bottom off too. Okay. Notice, it's rounded, it's more cylindrical now. You don't have those spikes coming out the top. Same as over here. Those spikes have been trimmed off, or fingers have been trimmed off, what do you want to call them, to make a nice round shape. A nice cylinder shape here. Let's look at the base or the stem. All this has been cleaned out to make it nice and clean. Okay. Going through here, everything's nice and trimmed up. When there is no time listed on the project, that means you do the project to completion. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You just get the job done. Now there will be landscaping maintenance projects that have a time associated with them. Those are reoccurring frequent maintenance. Let's say the project says 40 minutes of time. There's 2 people on the job site. If 2 people are working together, that'll be 20 minutes apiece. If it's 20 minutes of flower bed maintenance, and there's 2 people on the job site, that'll be 10 minutes apiece. Or if there's 3 people on the job site, that'll be about 7 minutes apiece, totaling 21 minutes. As you can see, we rounded these off to give them a nice shape. Took the babies out and cleaned it all up. And we raked everything up and put it in buckets and put it in the back of the truck. Anyways, this is the completion of the shrub trimming episode. Feel free to ask any questions. Thanks.